Hello there, everyone. We are back at San Diego to do our backpack, poster tubes, acrylics, talk a little bit about just packing things for Comic-Con, keeping them safe on the floor. We're big floor people, so we're coming from that vantage point. We're recording this where it would be under the tents in a month. We're here in the Hall H line. It's kind of a neat spot. We thought we'd try to record here. Obviously, we could have done this video at home, but we thought let's try to have a little bit more of a fun environment. We did a video last year on the backpack stuff, which we hadn't done in I think it was 8 years since. And people seem to really like it. So we're like, okay, that's something we need to do. So first up, again, kind of coming from our perspective, I'm a big backpack person, love having bags at conventions. We really try to pack to not need a lot of things at the show. Not that we don't go and use concession stands or buy, I don't know, a pretzel or whatever. We do those things, but we really try to not have to need them because we have had situations where it began. I mean, I famously have told the story where we ended up in Hall H one day, got in line at 7 in the morning, didn't leave till almost midnight. That's back when they did the DC after hours thing. So we try as much as possible to be very self-contained in how we approach the convention. So your mileage may vary. We know a lot of people don't even want to have a backpack at all. And if you're the case, you're probably not even watching this video, to be honest. But on the backpack side, I just like a standard backpack. There's nothing fancy about it. I do like to have multiple compartments there. So this one has a compartment there, compartment here, and then another one here. And so we'll kind of go through what are some of the things in those compartments now. So one thing, I'm always big on having a light sweatshirt no matter what the time of year. I'm just big on that. A lot of times those panel rooms get pretty chilly. And so I like the thinner it can be, the better. This one can condense down really small. So definitely one of the things always on my list. Another thing, a bag inside a bag here. The, for us at least, famous Walking Dead bag. We've talked about this a bunch over the years. But I love having this type of bag. These are comic books here. I'll show you. It perfectly fits the comic books in there. So not that you need this exact bag, although you can find them usually pretty cheap on eBay. Blood Factory did them for a while. Then Walking Dead took over for a while. Anchor Bay was kind of the distributor of a lot of them, has Black Sail. So not that you need this exact bag, but to me, this is such a convenient, easy bag. If you see us at a convention anywhere in California or beyond, we probably have this Walking Dead bag. A lot of times Carmel only uses this bag. But anyway, the nice thing is it's easy to grab swag and throw it in there. And so it's why I like it. So, but I do keep it folded up in the backpack most of the time, or I should say until we grab anything, that's said. And then I can pull it out and it's a nice easy grab from there. I always like having a light kind of folder. This one is super light, maybe a little too light, to be honest. Maybe I need to upgrade that. But the reason I like it, the other day we went to Universal Studios Hollywood. I stopped at the comic shop there, grabbed one book that I'd been looking for that they had. I stuck it in the folder with the bag and board. And even though this is pretty lightweight, it kept it safe all day. I went and checked in on it. When I got home, and I actually left in there, I think 2 days, and it was totally safe. But other things keep in there, like the Cena little menu there. We've talked about them in our Quick Eats video. Other paperwork, stickers, things like that. It's just nice to have a light folder to keep things in to help keep them a little bit straighter. Fan. I know some people like the electric fans. I don't really, not for me, a little cumbersome for me. Our friends at the blog gave these out a few years ago, and I still keep them for a quick cool down. It's this nice little touch there. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about in last year's video, but was the snack side of things, and we did get questions about that. So real quick on that side, I mean, I like having kind of the Ziploc bag to keep everything compartmentalized, and I'll show that to you in other areas as we go into the bag and some of the other, but I'm a real big Ziploc. Post-it notes and Ziplocs are a big part of my life. But things have little beef jerky, little kind of oat squares there, some Chex Mix. I mean, obviously, your what you want. Granola will vary, a bag of chips. I just like having a little bit of a variety of a few different things in there. Some days we don't even end up tapping into this, and other days this ends up being lunch or dinner or things like that. So it's nice to have that. I always keep a water and a soda or a Gatorade or something like that with. I like that little caffeine kick. So again, what you're interested in is what you'll have. That's why, honestly, I've never done that in any of our videos in the past of what food or snacks or drinks, because I figure everybody has their own taste. That said, after last year's video, we got a lot of good feedback, but one of them was hey, it'd be cool if you show if you bring snacks and stuff. So I figured, okay, we'll include that in there this time. Big on carrying sunblock. I get burned relatively easy for as much as we're outside at theme parks and whatnot. I feel like I get burned, particularly in the neck, so I always keep that with. as well. Now, talking about those Ziploc bags, a few more things. I like to have a bag. It's got like some note cards in it, Post-it notes, highlighters. I've got a baggie of baggies. This one needs to be reset with more little baggies, but like pins, buttons, stickers that we pick up at the con have a place to go. I have a baggie of our own, like, little swag things we'll give out when people find us, and like some, Parks and Cons stickers and buttons and things like that in there. A baggie with safety pins, with rubber bands as well. All, maybe overboard, but just I like to have these little things just 50. Some tape. Sometimes those comics come undone. What else do we have? Oh, there's our 10th anniversary one there. If you find us at the con this year, if you want one of those, hit us up. Now, also carry with a few different Sharpies. These smaller ones from a few years ago are nice. These actually were ones given out by the blog as well, but they're nice for that quick autograph opportunity, particularly when you're out in the gas lamp. Sometimes those things can just pop up, and it's nice to kind of be ready for that. Now, on the charging side, very big deal for us. Like Parks and Cons, if you follow us, there's years we do over 100 videos at San Diego Comic-Con. So we go through battery nonstop. So we may be overboard with that, but I always keep kind of this size of a battery, which to me, this is like the small battery. And then also we usually keep a brick, which is like a massive battery. Now, again, we do a lot more on this video side than maybe you would or ever care about, but do make sure you are charged up there and ready to go. Let's see, medication side, we keep some Claritin, the prescription medication, some Tums, some Aleve D is in there. Hopefully not going to need many of these things, if any of them, during the con, but it's nice again to have them. Of course, there's a CVS. We have other video guides that talk about like places to grab things, Ralph's. But as I said, we're trying as much as possible to like mitigate the costs of the con. And there are so many things that are expensive. Like going back to the bag of treats, like it's nice just to have the bag of chips, because even if we buy, a sandwich at the con, maybe then we can get the chips that way and we don't have to pay that. Always carrying some tissues with, like having that. Some pins, preferably Comic-Con related for us. These are some old Sci-Fi Cafe ones that were given to us. Again, the blog there, just fun to have some of those types of things in there. Got our business card holder there, not something everybody's going to need, but if you are maybe a cosplayer, if you are there as an artist, you might want to have that at the ready so you can connect with people. Keep our lanyard. I like the stretchy one there. It's nice and easy to tap in, tap out, and all of those things. So that is the bag. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so that is the bag now emptied out there. Now let's talk about the idea of keeping like posters and prints safe and things like that, because there's something that I feel like in the earlier days of our Comic-Con going experiences, we really relied a lot on the nice poster tubes they'd give out. Like, I still love, like, if you're doing that morning run through the floor and Hulu's there, it used to be Fox handing out the poster tubes. It's so cool, and I love all the imagery on them. But the thing that we learned, and I think it was really Carmel that had pointed this out, is how these were doing such a bad job at keeping things safe in them. And so just as I was getting ready for this video, as leaving, I was like, we had one poster left in here from last year. So I just wanted to show a little bit of kind of the damage of it, but you can see how it like frays and bends the side because this edge just does not keep it safe. And so although we still grab these because, hey, it's easy to grab stuff on the floor and then you throw those in, it really doesn't keep things very safe. The other thing is rubber bands don't really do a great job of keeping things rolled up either. You can see kind of all the bending there. So this is like a throwaway poster from last year, but I just kind of wanted to use it to show a little bit of like what we're trying to protect against when we are looking at it. Because it's one thing if like whatever Hulu's giving out a poster that you're like, oh, I'll give it to the neighbor kid, then it's fine. You throw it in here, it's good to go. But if it's something like I'm getting a print from, I don't know, Mondo or something, it's like it's a very different situation. So a few years ago, we got this one, Noslin. You can find them at noslin.com, Nozlen.com. We have no relationship with them. They don't know us. They don't care about us, but it does keep our posters really safe. It has the nice kind of twist, and there's a bunch of different companies you can go through for posters and things like that. But I really like this. We have found, like, since we've had this, it's kept things so much safer. And then this one expands, which we also really like, because depending on what we're getting. Now, most of the time, it seems like this does just fine, but you've got some options there. And so, in our situation, We are parking at the con. We stay out in the hotel circle area. So we have kind of, the hotel is not our home base. The car is our home base. And so a lot of times I'll keep this in the car. And then maybe I do grab one of these or bring one of these like lighter ones and I'll throw posters in there. Now, if it's a very one I really like or I'm concerned about, then I'll maybe be a lot more careful. Maybe I'll put it in here and like carry it like this. But ultimately, what I like the most, even beyond this tube, is these, like acrylics. And so these I find really nice. And we try to bring a few different sizes. Now, again, for us, it's a different situation. We're not flying out. If we were flying out, you know, we'd be buying these maybe out here and then having to ship them back. But for us, coming from home, doing a lot of conventions, we always keep a few of these 8x10 and working our way up. This is usually about our biggest size there so that we're able to kind of trade them in and out. So it gives some options there. Again, a lot of this stuff may feel overboard, but if you're the type of person that's watching a video like this, you're probably a little bit into overboard at San Diego Comic-Con, because that's our thing, right? Going overboard. One last note I wanted to make on this for people flying in. Last year, our friend Aaron from the blog had noted like putting your name on it and stuff if you're traveling, because again, there's a whole different set of concerns when you're flying in versus like in our case driving in. For us, as I said, because we stay, you know, several miles away from the gas lamp, our car is the home base. Like our car kind of is our hotel, you know, for long hours of each day. And so we try to have everything again set up and kind of contained as much as possible in these areas. Then when we go to the car, we dump things out. Maybe we put them in these acrylics. And ultimately, at the very end of the day, you know, it's midnight. We stagger into our hotel room and then we get things kind of set up for ultimately the drive back home after Comic-Con. So again, mileage may vary. As we always ask in our videos, if you have other ideas, especially those of you that are flying, you may have some tips that are very specific to traveling from far away, throw them in the comments section. Our YouTube channel is meant to be like a conversation piece for people. We always just share what we do. It doesn't mean what we do on any of these things is the best thing. We just want to try to share the things we do that might help people. We do go to 50 or so conventions a year, so we do hit the trail a lot, but obviously Comic-Con is its own unique beast, and your situation at Comic-Con will be very different. Maybe you're all about the prints. Maybe you're all about the posters. Maybe you're also flying back to the UK after, and that's going to be maybe a different situation than us driving a couple hours away. So with that said, we hope that this helps a little bit. Once again, we want to direct everyone's attention to our YouTube channel, where we have an extensive playlist from this year, but also last year. If you want to get a feel for the floor, if you're someone new to the con, feel free to check all that out. We always want to thank our Parks and Cons crew on Patreon. We thank you so much for your support, not just during the Comic-Con season, but all year long. We hope that you will check us out on Patreon if you're interested in supporting the work that we do there. So with that said, we're going to wrap up this one, and until next time, we'll see you in line somewhere.